Tonight, we open the lines to the unknown. No script, no safety net. Just you, your questions, your encounters, and two very gifted mediums, Scott Davis and Sarah Lemos, standing by to help you make sense of it all. Ghosts, dreams, hauntings, cryptids, psychic attacks, or messages from beyond. What will come through tonight? There is a link to join the show and be a participant on the YouTube live stream and on some of my social medias. So join us, and all may be revealed right here. I'm Dave Schrader, and this is my Paranormal 60 Live.
I'm not gonna stand here and listen to this baloney. You won't know. He doesn't stand for baloney.
Sounds like a lot of supernatural baloney to me. Supernatural, perhaps. Baloney, perhaps not.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. It's me, Dave Schrader, and this is the Paranormal 60. This is the Paranormal 60 Live. And tonight, we've opened the boundaries of space and time between me and you and the rest of the world. I don't know who's popping on tonight. Well, I know two people that are popping on, but the rest, it's crazy. It could be anybody. It could be Barack Obama. It could be Billy Joel or Elton John. Probably not. They're all very busy and they don't know who I am, but you do. You may be able to join us. We've got a link for it on today's program guide. If you're watching live on the YouTube stream, just go look at the description of today's program and there'll be a link. Now, we can host about 12 to 15 people at a time. So if you try to get in and it says the room is currently full, then just keep trying. And your best bet is sit there and wait, because as soon as I say goodbye to one of you and I send them off to the netherworld, that's when your chance to click in and get into the queue. Just keep up with us. We're going to have a good time tonight. Hey, so listen, my misfortune is your good fortune. And I shouldn't say misfortune. I been going to the doctor a lot lately. I'm going to have a few procedures, and some procedures that aren't necessarily covered by insurance. So I've decided that instead of having closets and garages filled with collectibles that I cannot use, will never probably look at again, I'm going to just put them out throughout the next couple of weeks on my social media pages. I might even put them back out on my eBay page. I'm not sure, but it's what you got to do at this point with medicines for Winnie and her issues. Insurance doesn't cover all that. With all of the stuff I've got going on with my back and neck, I just figured this would be a good way to sink some of my stuff back out there, give you a chance to own some really cool collectibles and neat little items. And who knows, maybe I'll even put a couple of the haunted dolls out there for you. But I wanted to clue you in, let you know about it. Just keep watching my social media. If you don't follow my social media, go follow it. You'll be able to find me on Instagram and on X and on Facebook, maybe even on MySpace. I might still have an account there. I'm not sure. But again, this is nothing to worry about. This is nothing to feel bad for me about. I've been collecting my entire life for no reason other than I think it's a disease, to be honest with you. And now it's my chance to clear that out. See, I had such foresight. I'm apparently much more powerful a psychic than I ever thought I was, because I knew to collect garbage that I'll just put away in boxes and keep in mint condition. And then someday I'll need money. Boom, I can put it out and make it available that way and connect you with me through my stuff. So keep an eye out, social medias, you'll see it. I might even mention it on Wednesday if we have something starting up, whether it's on my PayPal or eBay account or on my social media sites. So just giving you that little nectar of knowledge so you can go forth with the rest of your day or night, depending on when you're listening to this, and know that you may eventually become the owner of one of my curios, one of my strange items. How do you like them apples? I know what apples I do like, and they're here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Two of the best apples, the ripest apples on the tree. Medium, Scotty Davis and Sarah Lemos. Good evening, kids. Good to see you.
Good evening.
Are you in a tunnel, Scotty? What's going on?
Does it sound bad?
Does it sound bad?
Does
it sound better?
Let me hear a little bit more than a word.
Hello, how are you? My name is Scott Davis.
That is better. If you could just hold your head perfectly still like that
I
for the
can.
remainder of this 5-hour episode.
I'm a gangster. I could stand still forever.
We got people that have reached out and they've contacted me through email and said, I want to be on one of these live episodes when you have Scotty and Sarah, because I have a story to share. I have things I'd like to know, but I do want to clarify. So for any of you waiting in the back room here, this is not a gallery session night. This is not Scotty and Sarah trying to tap into the other side for you. This is if you've had a weird experience that you'd like some insight on, strange dreams, phantom encounters. Maybe you can't tell it. Was it an angel or a demon? Was it a cryptid or was it a leprechaun? Maybe they'll be able to tap in and let you know. This is more about asking the questions. This is more about sharing your personal encounters in a safe environment right here on the interwebs where nobody makes fun of one another, because it's the internet and it was made for peace and love. But kind of. This part of it is. This specific little YouTube channel is definitely for peace and love. So I want everybody to know you're welcome here. Your stories are welcome here. And we got a lot to get to. We've got people already lined up in the back room. So I'll tell you what, Sarah, you being the grande dame of the evening, I'm going to let you choose a number between 1 and 12.
8.
Oh boy, that came up quick.
That was so fast.
I know, she is quick with that. Let me see. Who is lucky number 8? Oh, here we go. Lucky number 8. Welcome to the Paranormal 60. It's our friend Grace. Unmute yourself, Grace. Yeah, that always helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah, sorry. Teacher brain. I'm still tired.
Hi, Grace from Canada.
Hi.
And Teacher Brain. Congratulations for being a teacher. Thank you for doing one of the toughest and most underappreciated jobs on the planet. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wish everybody else felt the same, but thank you so much.
Well, I can't speak for Scotty and Sarah, but I can.
As a former horrible student, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? I think all the former horrible students always turn out okay. They always turn out the best. And you know what? It's better to be a horrible student than an adult.
A horrible adult? That is true. At least with being a student, you have a place to aspire to become better. When you're an adult and you're horrible, you've already kind of peaked.
Yeah, your brain's not fully developed, so it's okay. You can just play it off that way.
Speaking of brains not being fully developed, I'm Dave Schrader. That's Scotty the Medium and Sarah Lemos. And we are underdeveloped mentally, physically, and sometimes spiritually, but we're still here and we're here for you. All right. What did you want to share with us tonight, Grace?
Okay. So that being said, as you heard that I'm a teacher. So I've had some odd experiences. So this is obviously for Scotty and for Sarah. So for the past few years, my classroom has been, I guess, a hub of activity. Now, I want to say paranormal, but just odd experiences. So things like disembodied voices, where my friend will have a conversation. There's nobody else in the school. It's early in the morning, having a conversation. We both heard a disembodied voice from the back, like right behind me, that said hello. Could not figure it out. But at the office, it was the weirdest thing. Like, we cannot figure it out. We, as a teacher and somebody who was into the paranormal as well, who does investigations, I'd like to debunk and try to figure out what the source is. Couldn't figure it out. My students and I both heard humming, like in the classroom. We all heard humming. They both will look up to me, and like the students will look at me like, okay, I heard that as well. And mind you, these are grade 1 students, right? So like, so they're little, right? These are little ones. Another time where my coworker, she was in my classroom one day, and it was like, after school, because it was quieter in my classroom. So she decided to go in my classroom, and she was doing some work, and she thought she saw, like, either it was a coworker that came in, and she looked up and she said it was a dark shadow figure. She said it looked like a shadow figure that she saw, because she put her head up and nothing was there. Other things like my speaker, I've had for about a year now, brand new. It's a Bluetooth speaker, and it, connects and disconnects either to my laptop or to my phone. But if I'm on duty or whatever, I just shut it off so it's not connected to my phone. My students will tell me they heard voices coming from the speaker. And I thought they were joking around. I'm like, okay, you guys know, like, the scary stuff. And we all joke around because we have this little mascot in my classroom, and we call him Gus the Ghost. And I said, okay, like, I know you guys. And like, no, Miss Hope, like, this is what we actually heard. So a lot of strange activity that's been happening in my classroom. Now, I'm not too sure if this has to do with it, but I actually went to the same school as a child. So full circle. Now I'm a teacher at the same school I went to as a kid. It's a large school. It's in Toronto, the big school. So I would just like to know, maybe Sarah and Scotty can probably give me some insight if they could pick up anything, because I'm trying to figure it out, and I cannot figure it out what is going on in my classroom.
Yeah, so schools are a hot spot for paranormal activity so often. My job in law enforcement, there's 2 schools in our town that the evening custodians have confided in me that they don't like being there after dark because one gentleman witnessed a man from like the 50s in a blazer and smoking a pipe at like 2 a.m, and another one witnessed like an 8 or 9-year-old little girl walking through the halls, again well after hours when nobody should be there. I think that in a school, there's a lot of energy. Obviously, kids have a ton more energy than all of us. So I don't know what could be the root of it, but it sounds like there's lots of energy there for whoever or whatever it is to feed off of. And if they're just humming and talking to you, it sounds like a pretty okay thing. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, it doesn't seem scary. I mean, even the kids are kind of like, oh, no, we know who that is, immediately. I love that the kids are also going, oh, I heard this. They're not denying it. They're like, nope, I heard it too. And I think Scotty's completely right. Like, schools, man, so much energy, all those kids moving and hustle and bustle. And what a great place to use the energy to be able to communicate or reach out. I feel like there is a little boy connected to this. I do feel like there's a tragic story that is connected to all of this. And I do feel like there is someone trying to communicate because they can, but I do feel like there is a little energy there that is absolutely enjoying time with the other students. I don't know if you know anything about that tragedy, if it happened, Grace, when you were there, or do you know of an incident that occurred?
Well, in the area where it is, it's a very transit neighborhood. So it's it can be tough sometimes. So in terms like, the savory characters have a tendency to be around there. So I could do more research and to find out exactly, because that's what I want to know. Like, now the interesting thing is that this is not the original school. The original school I went to as a kid was torn down. The one I'm teaching at now is a new building. So I'm not too sure. Like I said, everything has an energy and everything does, but I just want to know, like, that's what I was thinking. Is it a child? Is it collective energy itself and it's picking up with the other kids? Is it something that's myself because I've done paranormal investigation, something followed me, or I have no idea?
No, I wouldn't bet on somebody following you to a school. It definitely, in my opinion, would be something that would be connected there. I've never went into a school and ran into somebody who wandered into it. Usually it's very connected to the space.
Now, one thing to consider, and I'm not a psychic or medium, but I will weigh in nonetheless. When you think about places that cause a lot of anxiety and stress, school is definitely one of them, not just for the students, right? Some of the parents, because this may be the first time they're separating from their children. So there's a lot that goes into this. And, kids can be cruel to one another, sometimes even unknowingly. So I've always thought that places like schools, probably steeped in that kind of anxiety riddled energy that's just left over behind. And I know teachers that even the most stoic teachers have days where they are frazzled and ready to call it a day. And that's a lot of energy that's being put into a location can be very emotional. So I think you may be dealing with many layers, right? In the fact that this place is bustling with young energy, young, powerful energy. Add to that anxiety, stress, and just that kind of agita that's out there. And then add to that you may live in an area that's not the most healthy area. And although a a death could have occurred on that property at some point. It may be something close by, and maybe the energy of the children draw this energy to the school. And we don't know the story of all of the kids and their private lives and personal lives. So very well could be that some of them have lost siblings, and the siblings are still with them. So it could be just, I think, kind of this mosaic of these different elements that you're coming into contact with. The speaker is the one thing I would feel the most skeptical about, because I've even had it happen with my speaker, even though I'm not connected to it. My wife's not connected, nobody in the house. Sometimes speakers will just start picking up ambient RF frequency, and you'll just start to hear what sounds like, but what you're picking up is, it's cool 104, the best oldies, right? And but it's kind of broken up and staticky, so you can't hear it clearly. So that's my take on it, for what it's worth. But I think in these situations, schools are just kind of can be this abyss of swirling emotions, from happiness to sadness to excitement to depression for everybody involved. So that might be what you're kind of running into.
I do have to correct you, Dave. The kids may not tell me their stories about themselves, but they do tell me stories about their parents, things that you want to know.
Sure.
Awkward stories. So you're like, and when it comes to parent-teacher interviews, you're like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So, just be careful what you tell your kids and what you say around your kids, because they will repeat it to their
I know. I saw the movie Kindergarten Cop. My dad's a gynecologist. He plays with vaginas all day long.
Yeah, that's straight up. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but
one of my kids had like a screaming match with one of their teachers. Ghosts do exist. My dad knows because he's on TV. And it was weird because she was 18 at the time, and I don't know why she was reacting that way. I hope you had a little bit from the three of us, you know, and what was coming through, but it could just be a lot of that. And one thing we've been talking a lot about on the show is putting that kind of bubble around you, and maybe even putting it up around your kids, and teaching them. It doesn't have to be scary or metaphysical, but just tell the kids, let's do something today. Let's just imagine, like Glinda the Good Witch, we've got a bubble of energy around us, and all that energy. And what we can do is, it's our magic power, our superpower. With that bubble, we can push away everything bad and mean and negative and things that people say. They may say it, but it just hits that bubble and drops to the ground. And then when kindness is shown to you and love is shown to you, you let it in and let it surround you like a giant hug. So just teach them that it's a superpower, a magic power that they have, without evoking words like Harry Potter or things that can upset the apple cart in some instances. But that might be, I don't know. I'll kind of leave it to the two experts on this, but I think by teaching them to embolden themselves, to protect themselves, it might start helping them ground a little bit better, and maybe their energy won't be as chaotic as well. Yep. Sarah?
I agree.
I think that's absolutely beautiful. I think that was beautiful, Dave.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, Grace. And God, what kind of kick-ass name is Grace Hope?
Thank you.
The best.
Yeah, that is an amazing teacher and human name. So Grace, it's good seeing you, catching up with you, my friend down there, and hopefully we'll be able to connect again soon in person at one of these events or somewhere out in the public. You take care of yourself, and thank you for doing what you do.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, we've kicked her. It's your turn to try to power in and become part of the show now. Again, there is a link on our social media and on my YouTube live. So if you'd like to be a part of tonight's show, you can be. Let's go to our next guest. This is Christie. Christie, where are you at?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, sorry. We don't talk to people from Massachusetts.
Hey, no.
I'm kidding, Christie.
We both said I'm sorry at the same time.
Okay, to be fair, originally I am from Alabama, but I'm a transplant.
Oh, that didn't help you at all. Thank you, Christie. We'll try that again later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Having a friend who's a masshole from Massachusetts and having family from Alabama, I feel I'm here to give you empathy tonight and compassion. So to make you laugh. What's your story did you want to share with us this evening, Christie?
I guess ever since I've been 7 years old, I was raised in a kind of a paranormal family, so I kind of so used to all of this. But since around the age of 7, I've been followed by black shadows. everywhere I go. It doesn't matter where I'm at, or it's just I can be in my own home, which I am now, and I can hear like footsteps. I'm the only one home with my puppy who's snuggled up next to me.
Oh.
But yeah, he's a little puppy. But I hear footsteps, and we're the only two home right now. And obviously, everything is locked up, but I hear footsteps. I always have the the black shadows, wherever I'm at home or in the car with my husband, I can just kind of glance back and I'm like, oh, okay.
Can I ask Christie, when you see the black shadows, what part of your vision sees them? I know that sounds weird. Let me clarify that. Do you see the black shadow figures move in front of you? Do you just usually see them kind of darting past you in the corners of your eye?
I see them all the time. I mean, I can see them in front of me. I wake up at night sometimes, like at 3:00 in the morning, and there's a shadow like standing at my bed, and I'm like, hey.
Okay, so
goodbye, go away.
You're pretty calm with it. So
I guess
do you ever feel
used
frightened?
to it?
Yeah.
At first I was, and now it's like I remember when I had my first encounter around 7. I remember I was asleep, and the house we lived in, it was like a 1-bedroom, but my older sister had the bedroom, and my parents had like the Murphy bed that came out of the wall in the living room, and I was in the living room across, but we had like a couch between us and stuff, so you couldn't, it was separated. But I remember waking up, and I just turned over and I looked at this, like, I could see through this shadow. I could still see my parents asleep in their bed, and I'm like, I'm trying to sleep, go away. And I turned over and I went back to sleep. And the next morning when I woke up, I went down to my grandma's house, and I was telling her, and she's like, oh honey, you saw the black shadow. You're it's your gift. You see the shadows. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep. I would say, just to let you know, you did something that while you were talking to us is such a telltale sign of somebody who actually has this gift, and you didn't even realize you did it. Dave asked you a question. You took a deep breath and you exhaled, and you went somewhere, and you went into your space where you can get that information through your abilities. So you grounded yourself before you answered the question, and we would just call that grounding or centering. And it's very common when we're going to do a reading to take that deep breath, disappear into ourselves for a moment, and then bring the information forward. And it sounds like the visuals that you're getting, you're very in tune, and you haven't set up any boundaries, but you also haven't set up your ability to bring all of that information forward. You're kind of just living your life in sort of a limbo where you're aware of these things, but you're not locking into them in order to bring forward all of the information, right? So it's still kind of like a blurry picture until you actually do what you just did. Take that deep breath and then say, okay, who am I talking to? Who's here? And to quote my mom, every house that you live in isn't haunted. It might be you.
Yay!
What do you think, Sarah?
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, hearing the footsteps, the shadow, seeing the shadows. It's always interesting when people talk about shadows, because there's a difference to me for shadow people and then people seeing shadow like figures. So I always listen, and it the way you're explaining it is so beautiful, and the fact that you've been used to it since you were 7 years old. These are things you've been experiencing. But I do agree with Scotty. Just maybe it's time to take a class, or just maybe it's time to start asking, what do I want to do with this? And sit with those type of questions as you move forward, because you clearly know you have it, and you're clearly not too afraid of it. So kind of asking yourself, where is my next footing, and where am I wanting to head with this?
Yeah. And do you want to do anything with it? Because if not, you can turn it off and say like, hey, I'm done. I don't want to do that. Or, I tell people all the time, you don't have to be like Sarah and I. You don't have to publicly step out and announce all this stuff. You can just learn to work with it and use it in your own life, or just learn your gift so that way it's not a nuisance and the shadows aren't catching you off guard and you don't always have to hear the footsteps. And as somebody who grew up that way, not understanding that, I can tell you it's a huge relief when you finally come to the realization that you have control over it and you can set those guardrails up so that you're safe.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep going with it. I really do, because I know it was a couple weeks ago, I had a dream where I was standing in a very dark room. I don't know what room it was or where I was at, but I kept hearing a voice saying, "Help me. You need to come to me and help me." And I'm like, "Well, where are you? I can't see you." And I would wake up. I'm like, "Okay."
So you were almost standing inside the shadow, it sounds like.
Yeah, and
So
I was
it's
a little nervous about that when I woke up. I turned on my bedside lamp and I'm just looking around and I'm like, do I even dare go downstairs? Because I knew it wasn't in my house, but I'm like, do I still want to just go downstairs and make sure everything is locked? And because where I live, I'm surrounded by woods, and I'm just
not
like,
creepy at all.
The answer is always no. You don't want to go downstairs and look, especially when the next sentence is, I live surrounded by woods. Have you goofballs that watch the show never watched a horror movie once in your lives?
I've seen this
If
one
there's
before.
something mysterious and creepy in your house, don't go look for it. Just
I
call
laugh
the
at horror
police.
shows. I tell them, don't go there. They're standing right there. They're gonna kill you.
Right. And
All right.
meanwhile, your guardian angels, the shadow people, are yelling at you because you're doing the same thing.
Oh my gosh, I get it, but it's like I still want to. Yeah, I was like, I
Well,
didn't go downstairs at night. I went down the next morning when I woke up, but everything was still locked up. And
Scotty and Sarah,
Yeah.
you know, for most people that are interested in doing this, the problem is they just don't know a good, reputable source to start taking classes. And maybe if they heard from one of you and giving your advice on who would be a good teacher for this, maybe just once somebody would hear that and then they would know who to go to. Do you guys have any advice at all?
You guys
Oh no, my hand's doing this weird thing. It's right here.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to help. I got classes going all the time. We start some more up in a few months. So please come hang out with us and learn lots about your gifts and abilities.
How can they do that though, medium Sarah Lemos?
You can always find information at mediumsarahlemos.com.
okay, I will do that. Thank you guys so much. And
Thank you.
Dave, I will be looking forward to your little sales.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Keep an eye out for it. And thank you for being a part of the program tonight, Christie.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Very sweet. All right. I'll tell you what, we have to take a very quick break. When we come back, on deck, Frankie, Mariah, Sarah, and Cosmic Joe, the birthday boy, are among the next speakers. Don't worry, there's more, and I just can't scroll down to see you all yet, but we will get to all of you tonight. And if you have been trying to get in and can't, right now would be a good time because I think there's 3 open slots. All you have to do is go look on today's social media or on the YouTube live that you're watching. If you're watching it live, please don't send me a message 3 days from now going, it's Wednesday, and I keep clicking it and nobody's letting me in, because this is live Monday night, not Wednesday, Thursday, or next Sunday. So if you want to watch and be a part of it right now, go click on that link. We'll be back. We've got more to talk about right after this. Okay, my darklings, I've got a great message for you, and I hear you. I am going through something very similar to this right now, and I've got an answer for you that has been able to help me, and I know he can help you. Let me introduce you to Keith, the insurance guy. If you're self-employed, a freelancer, maybe you're just paying out of pocket for your family's health insurance. If so, you're probably overpaying by hundreds of dollars every month. You can meet Keith, the insurance guy, a real problem solver who's helped families just like yours. And for those of you watching, I'm going to put the phone number on the bottom of the screen as we talk so that you can get that number and keep up with where I'm at on this. Keith, the insurance guy, is a real problem solver who has helped families and small business owners. This is important. You're a small business and you're having trouble with insurance, which is a big problem out there. Let Keith be your guy. And it doesn't matter where you are. Yes, he's based in Minnesota, but he works nationwide to help you, your company, and the individuals that are watching this show right now. He can help you save 29 to 51% on your health care without giving up quality care, and in most cases, without having to switch providers. That's super important. One of the clients actually reached out to me and said, Keith saved our family over $400 a month, and we didn't have to change a single doctor. With an open network, you'll still see the doctors you know and trust, no referrals, no restrictions. Keith can also help companies as well as individuals nationwide. Call or text 612-230-5522. Don't let your health plan drain your bank account. Keith can help you save. Start today. Call Keith at 612-230-5522. That's 612-230-5522. Welcome back to the program. Thank you so much for watching or listening to the Paranormal 60. I am your host on this journey, Dave Schrader. Once a month, I get together with two of my best friends, and we talk about strange and supernatural things. We read emails most times that you, the shy listener, has sent in. That's stories or questions that you have for Sarah and Scotty, and you ask, can you share this with them? So tonight we've actually opened up so that you can be part of this show, and that's what we're doing. I put out a link. I emailed those of you that asked to be a part. I put the link up for those of you that were still on the fence. And the back room keeps filling. So this is fantastic. So let's get back to it. Sarah Lemos, Scotty Davis, Scotty the Medium. Scotty, where can people find you online if they want to keep up with all the great work you're doing?
You can always follow me at scottythemedium.com, or just hang out with me on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you got your social media. Scotty the Medium is the way to find me.
You know, Scotty, you're so good at what you do. You should have a TV show. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. You know, everybody
What?
can head over to phantomforensics.com and check out mine and Dale and Spratt's new show called Phantom Forensics.
You mean you do have a show, Scotty the Medium?
I do, yeah. It's really, I mean, I'm partial, but or what's the word? I don't know, whatever. I like it. It's phantomforensics.com. Go check it out.
Phantom Forensics, and we do have links up for that. Sarah, again, if people are interested in you and what you're up to, where should they go look for that information?
Everything's at mediumsarahlemos.com, or just come find me on the socials.
All the socials.
All
Or
the socials.
follow her on the link we provided on today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the studio, Frankie Rose, a.k.a. Beck. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here with us, Frankie.
Hi, guys. Hi, Dave. Hi, Scotty. Hi, Medium. Sarah. I miss you, Scotty.
Hi, Frankie.
So I have something weird going on in terms of I keep finding hearts everywhere. And no matter where I go, I find hearts. It could be formed out of my hair. It could be formed out of water.
Uh-huh.
And my brother passed away a year ago, and his name comes up everywhere. And granted, his name is common. But on top of that, I see, like the girl before me, shadow figures. And tonight, it wasn't just me who seen them. It was my niece who's 18. And I didn't know she could see him as well. But tonight, they were not dark. They were white. And it was the first time I didn't see him dark. But tonight, we had a family incident where my brother was shot.
Oh, my God.
And he's okay.
Okay.
But we seen them white. And
all right. White shadow figures. That's something new for a lot of people. That almost sounds angelic.
I've never seen them white.
Yeah. Am I reading something into that, Sarah? Being this white shadowy figure instead?
I think too, for me, when I see spirit, it is more of a white grayish, brighter colors for me is what I personally experience. But yes, I think too, when I first started seeing the angelic realm, they're humongous, but they also give off more of a white or bright or lack of color, I guess is the best way to explain it. And I think it's beautiful. If I just can add to that, the hearts that you're finding everywhere. I mean, clearly that's a message. Clearly that's a, I love you. I'm thinking of you.
My brother died of heart disease.
No, I'm sorry to hear
Sorry,
that.
honey. I'm sorry.
And
No, thank you.
And
But
Beck actually sent me photographs, and I tried to load them tonight, but I was having so many troubles. We're having horrible storms here again. But yeah, she sent me a picture of what looked like hair in the shape of a heart, and then a perfectly formed wet droplet in the shape of a heart.
there was two of them in that picture.
Oh, okay.
But I'm finding them everywhere, no matter where I'm going, and they're automatically forming.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, I say a lot of times, spirit messages sometimes come in forms that you're not quite expecting it. People look for the birds and the butterflies and things like that, but those other things like the heart is amazing. I had a client once tell me that somebody would send her hearts all the time, and she had beautiful photos like in the clouds or like weird, like a tree formed a heart somehow.
But I'm hearing him.
Well, that's, I'm sure, him trying to come through, and it sounds like he might also be kind of tuned into this stuff. So you might also be hearing him speak because you're open, you know. And same thing with the shadow figures, like our caller before. It's just a part, you know. I wish I could just reach out to everybody in the world and just be like, you should realize that all of us can do this to some degree. And the more you work on it, the better that it can be, and the more clear the messages can be. So
But my question
you're not
for
alone.
you, sorry,
Yep, go ahead.
sorry. I just want to ask, how do I get him to go? No, I don't want. It's not that I don't want him to stay.
Okay, so don't think that he's here.
I don't want. It's not that I don't want him to stay.
Yeah,
I
but
love
so
him, and I want him to be at peace.
I think Sarah's got the answer for you. We're gonna probably say the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sweetheart. So the thing is that just because you're having interaction doesn't mean a soul is stuck. It doesn't mean a soul is on this side and can't get to the other side. Most of the time, from my own experiences, souls go over and they can come and interact as much as they want, sweetheart. So please understand that it's your brother's choice. He chooses to come and visit you. He chooses to show you love. He chooses to leave these ways of connection. But that doesn't mean that he didn't go to spirit. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't mean it.
100%. That's exactly what I would say. So many times spirit comes back from the other side, whether you believe in heaven or a good place like that. They choose to come back here and comfort us. And when he is ready to let go, then he will. Or when he feels that you are at peace with yourself and the things that are going on in your life, he then will take that step. It doesn't mean that he's going to stop showing you the signs that he loves you and he's around. But yeah, for sure, he's not stuck or a ghost or anything like that. He's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frankie. And we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers tonight. What's your brother's name that was shot tonight, if you don't mind us asking?
Patrick. He his boss shot him in the leg.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we will definitely keep him in our thoughts and prayers. Lord, if you're listening, we just need a little help here for Patrick. Any of the medical staff that comes into his circle of influence, we just ask that you give them clarity of mind, steady of hand, and give them the wisdom to make the absolute best choices and decisions to help out Patrick. We pray this in your name. Amen.
So it is.
All right. Let me grab Mariah next. Well, I shouldn't say that in this day and age. Let me bring Mariah on the screen. Mariah, welcome to the program. Who's that little head popping over your shoulder?
It's my son Arnold. He wanted to join in. He's got the headphones too.
Hi, Arnold.
Hi, Arnold. Now, Mariah, your microphone sounds super muffled. I don't know if you can change it a little bit. If you're using your headphones, I'll ask you to take those off because that might be the difference.
Is that better?
Let me hear again.
Is that better?
Why don't I'm going to put you in the back for just a few minutes. Why don't you take those off and just use the phone microphone? That usually sounds much better than those. Okay. If you want to disconnect for that.
Okay. Are you there? Let me put these away real quick.
Yeah. If that might work a little bit better once they're shelved. Let me hear you.
Okay.
Yes. Better. So what did you want to share now with Sarah and Scotty?
Okay. All right. Well, so I met. Okay, leave the room. No. Sorry.
No problem.
So I actually met you guys. Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you go back and deal with what you're dealing with and get straightened up. We will come back to you, Mariah. So stay with us. Sarah, you are up. We just need you to unmute your microphone so that we can have you join us. Sarah Becca, is that you? Sarah?
Oh, there she is.
Unmute your microphone so that we can have you join us. Sarah Becca?
Is
Sarah,
that
I
you?
just need you to
That's
turn off
me.
the
I'm frozen a little bit, but
I'm going to put you in the background too. I need you to turn off the speakers on your computer or whatever you're listening to us on, because it's just looping back our voices. All right, Sarah. So if you can do that, and then I'll come back to you here.
is that
All
better?
right. Yes, much better, Sarah. Welcome to the show. What did you want to share with us?
I sent you a letter about, I have some very interesting planetary dreams
Okay.
where I started having dreams of a different planet shortly after I had an awakening, per se, that I had somebody pray over me and adjust my DNA and do all that kind of fun stuff at a spirit fest.
Okay.
And I started having these dreams quite right away. And sometimes they're taking me with a bunch of other people, like a bunch of people, like we're going on a big cruise or something, and we go through all this stuff, and just as we're about to I say, can I go back to the earth? They said, no, once you do this, you have to stay. And I always am like, no, I need to go back to the earth. I need to go back to the earth. So I'm trying to figure out kind of what, obviously it seems to me with my paradigm that I'm starseed. That I understand, but I have all these planetary dreams I don't quite understand. And a little bit of a thumbprint about what I might be going through would be real helpful.
Okay. Sarah,
Sarah?
Scotty, who would like to start off?
Well,
Sarah.
I would. So I love star seeds, and I love everybody that I love when I get to talk to somebody who's had one of these awakenings. I have actually spent a lot of time with people who have experienced this. And it can be very confusing and very overwhelming because it changes like that. So everything changes just really quickly. The way you feel, the way you look at things, the way you experience the world. Sound is also really interesting. A lot of people, I don't know about yourself, but experience sound differently.
That's interesting because I do go to sleep with music and frequencies in my ear.
Yeah. So I think there's an important piece here. Understanding versus remembering. Okay. So you keep saying, I don't understand the dream. I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. Maybe it's about remembering. If you've had these experiences before, maybe it's sitting down and journaling, honey, instead of trying to force, just allow. So like when you've had one of these dreams, just allow the information forward versus searching for something or staring at something. Let it flow through you. And I personally would use some music or tones to get you to that space or place. So like I said, just to get from a place of understanding to a place of remembering.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know too
Because
much about star seeds.
I think in 5D, so.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know too much about star
I
seeds.
do think in 5D. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So, some of the stuff that was interesting that you said was that somebody did some DNA adjustment over you. I assume that you asked them to do that. Prior to that, did you have any kind of inkling of these kind of dreams or any kind of paranormal experiences prior?
I've had paranormal experiences, and I've always been open to a variety of different paradigms, and I'm trying to understand the whole.
Sure. So it's interesting because it sounds like somebody kind of just woke something up in you that was kind of already there and laying dormant. I've experienced this myself. I wouldn't go as far as saying anything about starseeds because I don't really quite speak that kind of language. However, something I've experienced really personally and very viscerally was something called light language. That one of my very good friends is
I know people who have done it.
So she's a practitioner, and I went into it a little bit skeptical, but during the adjustment, so to speak, my third eye was blasted open, and it quite honestly opened up my abilities from like a 5 to a 10. So it sounds like
Wow.
you kind of gotten a kickstart, and your dreams, again, like Sarah said, don't try to understand them so much. Just write them down and journal them, and you might realize that there's a pattern to it, and there might be more that's happening that you're just not seeing the picture yet because you're getting little bits and pieces of it.
Right.
So write the stories down when you wake up as best you can remember them. And then, after a couple months of it happening, go back and read the stories and see what the common thread is, It's very interesting.
When I first started having the dream, it was almost like they had something coming out of the third eye.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to get that replaced. It was very interesting. It was like probably a different planet. But by the lighting and by the moons and stuff like that, I knew I wasn't on Earth.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Man,
I
wish I could dreamscape. I'd just love to see what it's like in those dreams for you. Thank you for listening tonight, Sarah, and being a part of the program. We appreciate
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you. All right, let's power through. We're going to get Mariah back on here. Hi, Mariah.
Okay. Hi, sorry about that, guys. Thanks for your patience.
No worries.
So last summer, I actually met Dave and Sarah up in Portland at the Bigfoot convention. Dave, thank you so much for the hug that day. I'm tearing up now talking about it. And you reminded me so much of my father. Same build, same grumpy stash and the goatee. And I'm just like, I hadn't seen him in 20 years because he passed the September after I graduated high school, which was 20 years ago last year. So
I'm proud and
thank you
humbled
for
to
that.
be the surrogate for that moment for you. So thank you for sharing. What did you want to ask Scotty and Sarah tonight?
It was just more of a thank you because Sarah gave me a reading that day about flowers and that he's always there. And so I just wanted to tell her thank you.
You're welcome.
I think back
So
on it
sweet.
constantly and it goes through my mind. And so, and then Scotty, I love your show, by the way, not to leave you out of that.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's
And Scotty's a good
beautiful.
hugger too. Scotty's a good hugger.
Yeah, that's true.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So if it weren't for the fact of 3,000 miles, but
Hey,
yeah.
look at 3,000 miles collapsed quickly for you and I. So it could happen in that way too. You never know when we might be coming out. Well, thank you for thinking enough of us to thank us, to reach out to us and be a part of the show tonight, Mariah. And hello.
Arnold wants to show you his flower.
All right, Arnold.
made these for me.
That's beautiful.
Wonderful, Arnie. I love it.
Well, thank you. And Arnold, go to bed and listen to Mariah. Good boy. Be a good boy.
Thanks, Dave.
That's that dad energy coming
Good night,
out.
everybody. Yeah, that's the dad. That's the pop energy coming out there.
Yep.
Sure was.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could please have a hush over the audience. Let's prepare to harmonize. Scotty, Sarah, if you could, because a birthday boy is about to join us. Cosmic Joe is joining our fold. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cosmic Joe.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks you.
My pleasure, buddy. Welcome to the show and happy birthday. What did you want to share with us tonight?
Well, I sent you the email before telling my story about the UFO.
Right.
Between me and my two sisters.
Sure.
It was a missing time experience for me. And I'm going to talk about this society I belong to. Well,
okay.
I cannot talk too well, so hope you can understand me pretty well. So I was working at different places in the government places, and Oracle. I was at offices on Oracle. I see these 3 books, the Nupo Tech Society books,
Mm-hmm.
and I I started up some great power in these books. So fast forward to that. Thanks, Big W. Yeah, I fast forward to not I had a massive stroke, yeah, because I was messing around with drugs and all. Past 21 years sober on those drugs and all.
Congratulations, Joe.
job.
That's great.
But when it was in the hospital, I had the Holy Spirit come over me, and it's changed my life.
Awesome.
And when I got out of the hospital, I saw reality differently. Like its genetic memories came over me. Caused me to think that a newborn baby has these genetic memories in them, and our society blocks them up sooner or later. Some children can still the spirits are genetic memories, but
right,
it was like Atlantis or some other continent. All Maryland, all the buildings were like these old memories.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I had to learn to speak and whatever. So the day after I had my stroke, I was sitting in my room watching TV for the first time, and I seen it was a gaming program, like a award show, and Marilyn Manson came on with a flaming pentagram and all.
Okay.
It scared me to death because I've been metal praying for years and years, but being had a stroke and all, I said, man, that's really freaking me out. So much so I had a Monty Crew hoodie I gave away with a pentagram on it. I gave that away. So I'm trying to stay away with that. And the day after, I got a notice in the mail for the Neotech books.
Okay.
So I did get the first one. I've been a member for about 20 years now. So I got the whole 3 books. I got even got a workbook book. The Prime Discovery is called.
And you found that these have been helping you on your journey?
Yeah, it's all about human nature and all, but
tell them that it's human nature. Duh.
Yeah.
Can you do me that way? I'm giving you a little Michael Jackson there on top of it for your birthday.
It's cool. So it's all about being a mortalist too. Being not fearing death, but progressing my life so where I can live longer. So I got a year ago I got some stem cell solution from them, 2 bottles of that, and I made myself feel like I was 10 years younger.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, really it helped me out a lot. But the thing is, I don't know this New Tech Society that Mark Hamilton is the one that runs it. He's on YouTube and all. He's created this own country called Immortalis. So these, I don't belong to Immortalis per se, But I want to know if it's evil. You know.
You want to know? So Scotty, Sarah, do you feel that? Are you picking up that what those things are? The lessons, that information might be evil. Sarah, what have you got?
So the 3 books that we've been talking about, like the power and the energy behind those books, I think that there's a reason you were called to them. And as long as, we all know the difference between something feels good and doesn't, right? And so when you're holding the book itself or you're reading a passage in it, if it makes you feel good, then continue to read. And if it doesn't, you could skip a chapter. And then if you feel like it still isn't good, then it's okay to put it down. I've noticed just for myself personally, there's some books that I can't open until it is exactly the right time. And then I pull that book off the shelf and I'm able to read it cover to cover. So I just think that, allow yourself to feel. If it feels good, then it is good. If it doesn't feel good, it's okay to put it back on the shelf. I mean, honestly, I trust you. And I think that there's a reason you were called to it. And it's okay to ask yourself, does it still work for me?
Yeah, I agree. I'm somebody who just says, like, if you are learning lessons and it's teaching you to be a better person, or you feel like you're becoming a better person and you're treating the people around you better, then that is a positive thing. So it sounds like your life changed when you had this stroke, and then this next step came into your life with these books. And it sounds like it taught you to be a better person. And so much so that you said, like, hey, I don't even want to deal with the things that even have negative connotations. Although Motley Crue does kick butt, if you didn't feel super good about it, that's cool. And I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of Marilyn Manson myself, on a couple different levels. There's a couple things he does I think are kind of too far for stuff for the sake of entertainment. But that's my opinion, and it doesn't really mean much. But if it makes you feel good to have that power for yourself and be able to embrace the good in your life because of these books, hey, they sound good to me, man.
And Joe, you can always ask for clarity from your higher consciousness. That is this something that can benefit me? And that even the darkness we can learn from. Hanakia Zedek, who is a big teacher in Minnesota, teaches us that sometimes embracing the darkness to understand it helps us become more powerful in the light, right? And that's something for you to consider as well. But thank you for celebrating your birthday and spending a little bit of time with us here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And I got some difficulties with my family and all because the pass and all, but I got by longevity.
There you go.
Right. Well, I hope it continues to work well for you, and that we can celebrate your birthday 20 years from now. Doing the same
that I take.
Sure.
So, thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Joe. Great job, buddy.
Birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Joe.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome. All right. Thesis himself has been waiting patiently in the background. And he's now back with us. It's been a while, sir. I'm glad to see you join us this evening.
Good. What? How do you get off having such a sweet setup coming in here?
I have a full production studio, brother. So real quick, I am beyond nervous. So I apologize. I'm exhausted. My heart is pounding all at the same time. So with that said, huge fan of Sir Scotty, specifically as a skeptic. The evidentiary mediumship is fan.
Oh boy, we seem to have lost the stream. I think I forgot whose show he was calling into. But
I didn't do that.
Studio's back online. We're good.
So real quick, huge fan. Miss Lemos, I found out about you through Dave. So good evening, Sir Scotty, Miss Lemos, buddy. And Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm rolling out the red carpet just for you, sir. So beyond excited to be on here. It's the first time I've ever been a part of the show. So I discovered you reluctantly, actually, 2008, roughly thereabouts, in my Chrysler 300 in Roseville, listening to you and Tim, and I think it was Mally Fox at the time. And you guys, it was during Halloween. You guys were playing music in the background, making food. From my perspective as a first-time listener, making fun of the write-in emails. I was laughing along. So I just got off of work from UPS, off of Godward, Minneapolis. I was laughing so hard, I thought the neighbors were going to call the police because there was a strange person in a vehicle across the way. And I was upset because these two knuckleheads on the radio were making me laugh at something I thought I took seriously.
We
So
can
Dave's
have
good for
fun with
that.
the paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can have
He's
fun
good
with
for that.
That.
I walked, I stood, my pregnant wife was in the house, and I told her, I'm like, listen, I just heard these two dipshits piss me off. You have got to listen to them. And she goes,
But is that the equivalent of taking the milk out and sniffing it and going, this is, oh, this smells horrible. Here, sniff this.
Dave,
now you
give
try.
it-
Now you try it. Now you try
Yeah,
it.
you try it.
Oh my God, man! Till this day, I think about it. I'm like, oh, good God. But on a serious note, I wanted to share a couple of things. But first and foremost, right? Something that who was it? Was Miss Mariah a couple of calls ago?
Yes.
Had said something that touched a nerve with me. I've just recently lost my father a couple years ago, but it feels like yesterday. That is a pain that, as a man, right, and as doesn't matter, right, gender. But I'm just saying, it will never go away. In particular, because my dad and I, we butted heads. We were a very similar kind of person, but my dad didn't like a whole. My dad was a tough Vietnam vet. And I was an oopsie baby. I was the youngest of all my brothers and sisters by a long shot. So I grew up with my father as an older man, and I got to see different parts of him than my siblings did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when my dad wasn't a fan of a whole lot, like, I'm just being super honest. But my dad would be like, "Man, I really like that Schrader. I really like that Schrader." And I'm like. And he goes, "So you know this guy, huh?" I'm like, I mean, I spoke to the man. I gave him a hug. I told him that he helped change my life one time at a Ghost Adventures premiere. And he goes, well, you like something that's pretty good. He's like, I like Schrader too. So with that said, so when she says like a father figure, you're like one of these things that like in my brain on the left hand side, it's like this bizarre ethereal, like, oh, it's fucking Schrader, right? So no, I believe me. I put you on a pedestal. I don't like saying that to people right out of whack. Your ego and your eyebrow have already got a personality of itself, sir. But with that said, I don't want to take up too much time. Long story short, I grew. So I'm Native American on both sides of my family. Very, very, very called. My dad was a leader of the Native American Church, Children of the Morning Star, in the state of Minnesota. And Pennsylvania, Washington, etc. But this is where the hub is. So Anishinaabe, Southern Cheyenne, Mdewakanton, and Tarahumara from Mexico, northern Mexico. Why northern Mexico? Because there was never a border there. Then all of a sudden there was. So like they're still Native American. We're still Native American, but it's just there's a line there now. So we're always in touch spiritually, right? My church is the Sweat Lodge, so on and so forth. It's bizarre seeing when people talk about saging on TV. I'm like, that's a smudge. Like that's my culture through and through since I was born. And then all of a sudden you see some blonde chick on TLC talk about, Brittany, you have to sage your house. I'm like, what did they say? This is HGTV. Anyway, so growing up in that aspect, right? I've always been in touch, but there is something that I've always had a question about. There's a particular house, a home that where our family refers to it as the Hampton house, and a lot of our culture, we don't call it a religion, right? Our way of life revolves around dreams, and this particular house, again, like to the point where my extended relatives who may have only experienced that house for church, I'm talking about family that lives in Texas who've never lived in Minnesota, family that lives in Washington who've never lived in Minnesota. They've been in the house a couple of times and stuff. The other day, no haunted stuff, no fucking crazy shit. Pardon my French.
That's not French.
I apologize, bro. I'm just learning English, so where all of a sudden, since we were kids, my nieces, my nephews, my brother, all my brothers, when we have a dream of significance in particular, it's at that house. And it's spiritual dreams that are particularly, like, everyone has a dream where they're having to build a go-kart with their ex-landlord, right? To quote Mitch Hedberg. But that's not what I'm talking about. Right?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm not talking about pulling hair out of a plumbing thing with from circus pizza clowns. I'm talking about spiritual dreams that have significance that pertain to your life in a pretty heavy way, are at that house. And I'm not talking about once or twice a month. I'm talking about several times a week. Like, this is an ongoing thing. Wow. My brother and I just recently tried to kind of just to see, we would try to neutralize it in the Native American church in the way that we do, not because it's negative, but just kind of to see whether or not it would sever some type of attachment, whether it be from the land, whether it be from the house itself, spiritual, whatever attachment that may be, because I don't want to be stuck psychologically, spiritually, so on and so forth, to a physical piece of property. If it's a psychological thing, that's one thing I can deal with, whether it be through not mediumship, not through psychic stuff, but specifically through what is that called? The shrinks. Help me out. Where you go through like trauma and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like through
PTSD stuff.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Or just maybe just an attachment of just like, because the house was foreclosed on. It was a pretty traumatic experience. 2008. It was terrible. Anyway, so my question is, I haven't been able to personally, and if I haven't been able to, if my brothers haven't been able to, in our way, like it's a big deal. We can't figure out if or what the attachment may have been, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a psychological thing as opposed to spiritual.
So it's so crazy that you're talking about that, because for most of my life, there is a house that exists in my dreams that I found in life. And it's a white house that's located in a space that looks like it's in the woods, and it has a creek out back. And anytime that I would have a crazy dream, I would be in this house and I would have to explore it. And many times it would be filled with dead people that would be looking to speak with me and pass messages. But sometimes they would be very overzealous. And many times I would find myself frightened because there was so much energy swirling around the dream, and it was so visceral that I would wake up basically in cold sweats and feeling very unnerved at the things that were happening. And I remember one particular time I had this dream. I finally got so fed up with the loss of control when I was inside of this home that I finally went basically on a mission, and I hunted down what I thought might be the source of it. And I ended up in the attic of this home, and there was nothing but a void at the top. I didn't find an attic. I found an open space that went into nowhere. So this place that existed that I did find physically, at least a place that matched it, it became a place that I started to learn a lot of lessons. And I would always go to the attic first and start there, and then ask questions and go through the house. And eventually this house actually transformed itself and is now a school. It's a place that I find myself very often with many people who are mentoring me and showing me the way instead of scaring me, because now I've mastered this ability to speak with the dead. And so now I'm learning more lessons. So now I have these guides that I believe are actually other human beings that are just, I don't want to say better, but maybe have more information than I have, and they are helping me. So instead of waking up afraid, I'm waking up feeling very refreshed with renewed energy. So you talking about that house, you're the first person I've ever heard say that, besides myself, and I don't speak about it too often because I don't want anybody else to be like, oh, I have that same thing, you know. It's a very special thing. So to hear you say that is very, very interesting to me.
I don't know if you were aware, Scotty, and for those of you listening, you couldn't see Thesis' response when you started describing the house. He seemed to have had an out-of-body experience on camera. Thesis, tell us what's going on.
So this is incredible. I'm getting goosebumps. My brother says I can make them happen on command. That's BS. So as you're describing this house, I'm going to describe this. I have it pulled up on Google Earth. It's less than 6 minutes for me. I'm going to be careful how I word this. A lot of my career path has, my brother and I have, our career paths have been to afford to purchase that property back since we were kids. Just a fact. I don't know if we'll ever get it back. They're not interested in selling. Fine. It is from the 60s. It appears to be a rambler. It's got a barn. It's a 6-acre property in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Halfway between St. Paul and Rochester. I don't even know what that means, but it's significant to me. It's on a dirt road. You look right, and it appears to be this small rambler. It's not. And you look from the back. It's a beautiful, beautiful property. A small natural spring, a creek that runs to the back, traveling from east to west. The spring, the creek. It's black. It was a natural cedar that's just what they had it back in the 60s, and eventually we painted it to some boring HGTV beige color back in like 07 or something, but just something that had a resale value, right? But as you described this house, that there's a particular, we called it the black garage growing up. It was the barn, but it's what we used as for the 4-wheelers, the dirt bikes, the 3-wheelers, etc. Sure. Not to age myself, but we had 3-wheelers back in the day. It's not something that's exists anymore for you 19-year-olds. But as you described that attic, there was a particular attic that my brother and I have met before in dreams, like completely. He would be living in Oregon. He'd be living, and I would meet him unprompted, not speaking for 6 weeks, not because there's anything wrong, but because we have stuff going on, right? And we would meet, and I would get a call the next day. He goes, "Dude, I had this dream last night," and I'm like, "And you were wearing those stupid shorts I told you not to." He goes, "What the frick?" And I'm like, and we were sitting in the attic of the black garage, is what we would call it. So that's mind blowing. Yeah. Again, unprompted goosebumps. I'm telling you.
I got them too, pal.
It's crazy.
How about
keep
that?
exploring. We'll keep a good thought in our hearts for you and your brother that you can get that property back. We'll ask that maybe the hearts of those people that own it soften, so that at some point they're willing to release that to you and your brother when it's the right time. All right, buddy. Thank you for sharing what you did with me and opening up with us tonight and sharing that. It's amazing. And to have that kind of connection with Scotty. Well done.
Please do me a favor. Just go on line and Google me and find my email and just send me an email. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more.
100%, brother. Appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Have a good one. Another amazing story. All right. We do have people that are still in the back. Looks like Angela, Susan, Kat, Kimberly. We're going to have to power through because we've got about 15 minutes left together. I want to make sure that we can get to your question. So if you can focus in the next few seconds on what you'd like to know and share a brief story with us about it, we'll do that. You're also welcome to disconnect and maybe connect with us again next month. If you don't want to feel rushed, I understand that as well. We do need to take a very quick break. We will come back. We've got more to talk about right after this.
Now, during the Halloween season, the veil between the worlds gets thinner and the chills get real. Oh, so very real. Something is waiting in the dark, and it's calling your name. So answer the call this Halloween season for the Paranormal 60 presents Halloween Haunts and Hijinks, October 9th through the 12th, for a supernatural weekend you'll never forget. It's being held at the historic haunted Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota. Join Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files, Ghosts of Devil's Perch, and the host of the Paranormal 60 podcast. He's teaming up with Dalen Spratt from Ghost Brothers and Phantom Forensics. And we have heart-centered, intuitive Diet Renee for a weekend packed with spine-tingling experiences. You'll have 2 nights of live investigations and paranormal experiments, interactive workshops, gallery readings, and meet and greets, live presentations with experts themselves. This isn't just an event, it's a doorway to the unknown. So you have to ask yourself, do you dare cross it? Now, tickets are limited, so please book your Halloween Haunts and Hijinks adventure now at darknessevents.com. Again, that is darknessevents.com.
Just remember, my friends, you can find all the great places I'm going to be throughout the United States and around the world by visiting darknessevents.com. I do want to thank our special sponsor. The episode of Paranormal 60 this evening brought to you by Keith, the insurance guy, helping you save big on health coverage without sacrificing quality. Please, if you are going through it and you're needing help and you want to start lowering those insurance and healthcare bills, call 612-230-5522. That's 612-230-5522. Okay, let's start to do the power round. Here we are. We've got looks like 4 or 5 guests left to join us. Let's jump in with Angela. Angela, welcome, and thank you for your patience this evening.
Hi, thank you so much. Is my volume okay?
You're perfect, Angela,
Right.
just as you are.
I want to get right into it. So I had an event. It was a mashup of experiences all in one day, and it started pre-dawn. I was in a dream state, but I know it wasn't a dream. It was one of those astral situations where I was assisting in a way, and I was woken up unexpectedly. And as I was getting up and walking through the house, I felt as though my consciousness was just tagging along behind me like a balloon. I was not all together. So I went and did the thing I needed to do, and I came back in the house, and I thought, well, maybe I'll eat something that'll help me ground. That didn't help. I went outside, I put my feet in the grass. I sat there for about 15 minutes and just trying to, get the rest of me back in. I don't know. It was really strange. And then when I came in the house, 4 or 5 hours had passed, and it felt like 15 minutes to me. And I was completely conscious the entire time. So I had all morning missing time. And I don't know. I was starting to get like a migraine. So that was happening. And my daughter had called me at some point because I was just trying to go to sleep so I can get through this headache. And she had hurt herself and was coming home. And she came home. And with the migraine, sometimes you get really nauseous. Right. So just by the time she got there, and I had just talked to her on the phone, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be sick. So she ran out of the room. And it was so strange because besides the fact that, I had missed all morning, between the time she called me and I had laid down with this headache and she got home, another 4 or 5 hours had passed. It was like 5 p.m. at that point. So I had all morning and all afternoon completely missing, but I was totally conscious, not aware at all that more than a few minutes, at most an hour had passed. So here's the kicker, and this is what I really would like your insight on, is that when I was being sick, every time I heaved, I'm trying to keep this as PC as possible. Something happened. And when she finally came in and talked to me, she's like, Mommy, she said, every time you got sick, the electricity in the whole house went out, like each time, and then came back on. So every time I was being sick, I was, pulling so much power from this experience or whatever was going on that I was knocking the electricity out of the entire house. So I would like to know what your feeling is on that. Like what is going on with me?
Can I ask you, Angela, how long ago was that?
Just a few months. It's been super quiet for a long time. I have had lifelong experience since I was a toddler.
Have you had these experiences where you kind of, it feels like 10 minutes and 15 minutes and all of a sudden hours have gone by?
Well, I've had missing time before, but those were enveloped in other, experiences that, you name it, as far as paranormal, ET, different things like that, mediumship, psychic stuff, seeing things. I have done it all. It's just, it's spontaneous, and it's nothing I've ever studied or tried or attempted or practiced. It just happens. Okay. But
Sarah,
this was a big one.
Yeah. Sarah, what are you picking up on this?
Well, I get two things. One, the fact that there was so much missing time, that there was the headache, there was nausea. As a sensitive myself, when there is a lot of laughter or a lot of anger or a lot of emotion, things tend to happen around me. TVs can turn on and off just because I'm laughing really hard. So my point is that maybe you had so much going on. Maybe you weren't feeling well. Maybe there was all these different things where everybody, guides, angels, loved ones, are literally surrounding you, trying to help you get back into body, into source, and that might be why the electricity was going crazy. But when it comes to this, everything in me keeps saying medical. So I completely understand. Like, I respect you and I respect your experiences, and you can tell, sweetheart, that you're gifted. So it's not about that either. It, to me, just feels like I just want to be careful. It wasn't medical. Keep an eye on it. You know, with the headaches and the vomiting and things like that.
That's why I asked the question to begin with, Angela. Dr. Barry Taff, who is a paranormal researcher and investigator with UCLA during Dr. Thelma Moss's time there. One thing that they did find around people that had strange paranormal experiences and loss of time, they were dealing with forms of epilepsy that a lot of them did not even know that they had.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that might be something.
I've not been diagnosed with anything, and I don't have any medical issues whatsoever.
Yeah, and it sometimes it's not something that sends you in, and if they don't know that these type of things are happening, you know, you might just talk to them and just say, you know, I've had these weird headaches where it makes me sick, and I kind of feel like I've lost time. Don't go into the spirituality side of it, but encourage them to just have a quick MRI. You may find. And it may not be anything major, Angela, in the sense of it being, you know, you don't have an ungrown baby in your brain that you enveloped in the womb. Nothing creepy. It could just be that you just have some synapses going, right? And that doesn't mean that you're not having paranormal. It just means that could be what's allowing you to experience the paranormal in the way that you are. But there's an after effect. And in some people, Cindy Keza gets drained very much after really tapping in and being there. I've been around Scotty and Sarah when they've really been on fire, tapping in and connecting for people, and it can be extremely draining. So if you have an underlying issue, and again, this is not a slam on you, different moments of chaos and anxiety and dealing with the supernatural in any way could be firing that off, and you don't even realize it.
It's never been a negative in my life, but this was something so different, and just that one off, but it was so strong, and I just don't even know where to start with it. So what is it about me that would cause that to happen? And the only thing I can think of was that I was just so wide open, you know.
Very well could be. Starting to learn the ground and find ways to connect as well. Sarah, how did you want to wrap up with her on that?
Just, you know, I think too, you have many experiences, right? So you know what this experience wasn't.
Right.
So that I want to say, you've had many paranormal experiences and different things, and you're like, you know, this was different. Keep researching, keep asking questions. Just because I don't have the answer right now, other than I do feel like the energy that you were dealing with and the energies that were happening kind of were synced. And to continue to grow and continue to write your stories and things like that, because clearly you are connected. So this is just a different one for me.
But did you pick up anything, Scotty, with that at all?
There were just like two quick things. One, just on the medical side of it, I was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 40, and I found out that time blindness is a huge part of that diagnosis, and it makes so much sense because you can ask my wife, if you ever meet her, how bad I am at keeping track of how long I've been doing something. When I was first waking up to all of this stuff, I once took the trash out in like February, and I was outside for like an hour. And I came back inside. My wife was very upset with me. And she's like, "What were you doing?" And I said, "What are you talking about? I dragged the can out to the curb and I came in. But I did take a minute to like stare up at the sky. And when I came back in, she's like, "You were gone for like an hour." And I was like, I thought she was exaggerating, but the show we watched was well over. So that's part of it. So there might be something with that. And then as far as all the electricity going off, I wrote down PKE generator. I've been around people who are very in tune, and they're just sort of like a magnet for all this energy. And when some of us get around people like that, the electrical anomalies happen, but we also become much more sensitive. So that might be a part of what you're experiencing.
Interesting. Yeah, guys, I can't wear a watch. When I was in college, I was banned from the printer room because all the printers would go offline.
Yeah,
I finally figured out it was me. You know, things like that. Yeah, registers at the grocery store don't work if I stand too close to them.
As Above, So Below is the name of the book by Dr. Barry Taff. Read it, and you're going to find that a lot of what you're describing right now is exactly what they found in their studies. So
I'll check it out.
Watches. But it also, this happens to so many people. If you're in a bad mood, and this stupid cat puked on my shoe, and I tripped and stubbed my toe, and all of a sudden my phone's not working, my stupid phone. Now I don't need this, and my computer at work. Sometimes we get so bound up that our PKE is affecting everything around us electronically and electrically. So that is a big part of it as well. So something to keep in mind. But Angela, thank you for watching, for your patience tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. All right, we got to move through these. We have 3 left with us. Susan, take your microphone off mute and let's talk to you. All right,
Hi.
There you go. Hi, Susan. What did you want to share with us tonight?
Well, there's a lot of stuff, but I'll just this one thing. Children, I know, seem to see spirits and stuff more than adults do.
Mm-hmm.
And my granddaughter, when she was like 3, the kids were living with me, and she would talk about something under her bed. She called it a zombie, but and she's all throughout, she's talked about different things. Well, we were at the cemetery at my sister's grave, and we were just all, my sister and I, my other sister was there, and we were just kind of talking, and she said, "Who's that?" We didn't see anybody, but she saw somebody walk behind us. And I'm like, kids really do know this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I try not to go against what she's saying.
No.
Because I know
that's good.
Yeah. But and a lot of I work at Scarefest, is where I met Dave. And in Kentucky.
It got real dark in here all of a sudden. That's weird. My power went out. Go ahead.
But since I've been with Scarefest, it seems like a lot of stuff is coming through that I didn't, pay attention to before. But my granddaughter's just amazed me by certain things that she talks about.
Yeah, for sure. Little kids are so receptive. They're open radios for all the things that are around them. They receive so much information. And, her talking about a zombie under the bed, I say this all the time. Little kids, they're super receptive, but since they haven't learned all the vocabulary that we have as adults, they do their best to describe what it is they're experiencing. So if she says zombie to you, it's just her way of saying, like, there's something that is definitely a person, but shouldn't be there and is kind of scaring me, right? That as a little kid, that's the kind of stuff that I would experience, and I wouldn't have a vocabulary to tell my parents. So it sounds like that's what she was just trying to tell you, like, that's why I try to tell parents that have kids that are sensitive, like, you're doing a great job. Just listen. Don't put the guardrail on. Just listen to what they have to say, validate them, and let them know that it's not actually that scary. But if they are afraid, to not be afraid to talk to you about it, and just to listen and be emotionally available for them, because that's what they need. And the more you talk with them and give them the vocabulary, the less frightening it will be for them. And it might fade as they get older, but it might get stronger. And if you've given them a good base of love and comfort and a place that they can go and talk, that she can go and talk to you about it, then that's wonderful. And I think that's a great job.
Yeah, Susan, I have to tell you, as a young medium, my grandmother was somebody I could go to and I could talk to, and she was a gift, Susan. Like, having someone that I could communicate with and just tell my crazy stories to, and not be questioned, and not be told to be quiet, and not just told to stop. Like I was told so many times, because people couldn't understand me, then something was wrong with me. So I just want to say, Susan, thank you for being there for her. Thank you for being that sounding board, because you have no idea what a gift that is.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Susan, there's a great book by a woman by the name of Echo Bodine. Echo Bodine. She's a very powerful medium, very well known in the state of Minnesota. She's written a book called The Gift. And I think if you read that book, it'll help you in dealing with your granddaughter and her gifts as well.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Susan. We'll see you at Scarefest.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm a little worried about this next person, because I can see them in the green room while we're preparing. And I got to be honest, I was afraid Kat was aboard the Titanic, because all I saw was camera movement like this, and then she'd vanish from screen and then come back into screen and shake and then vanish again. So I was really worried that Kat was either sinking in the Titanic or on a tectonic plate somewhere in California. Kat, are you okay?
Yeah, I actually am. I have my pit bull in bed with me, and she's kind of freaking out. So just loving on her.
Oh, gotcha. All right. All right. Then we're safe. Kat, it's you and Kimberly are our last contributors this evening. What did you want to talk to Scotty and Sarah about?
Well, I wanted to tell a fun little story tonight.
Please.
But first, I want to say, Mr. Dave, Mr. Scotty, and Miss Sarah, huge fans. Thank you for letting me join.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this story is one that I actually like telling. It's one of my favorite paranormal stories, and it's called Tag with a Ghost.
Okay.
I was about 8 years old, getting ready to turn 9. And my family, with 3 other families, were up at this huge hunting lodge in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Now, this property bordered the National Forest. It also had a lake right by the main lodge. Now, these are important information to know. On top of all of that, all of us kids decided we were going to go play team tag at night. So, of course, everybody is going to dress in the dark clothes, except for my brother and his best friend, who decided to wear white.
Okay.
Now, heading down to the lake, there's a little overhang of trees, and that's where my best friend and I decided to hide because nobody would look under there. And I could hear all of the older kids yelling and screaming, "Oh, we see you guys!" But, of course, you had to figure out which one they were seeing. At that time, I looked over into the lake. Standing right in the middle is a little pioneer boy. And he's just standing completely still. I turned to my best friend and I said, "Did you see that?" She slaps her hand over my mouth and goes, "Shh," because right above us were the searchers. And all of a sudden, I hear the searchers call out, "Hey, Austin, I see you." Well, at that point, this little boy came running right between me and my friend. And we could see each other. So we took off running up, and my brother and his best friend come out and go, "What are you talking about? We haven't moved from our spot behind the garage."
Wow.
When you say this little boy was in the middle of the lake, was he standing in the water?
He was standing on top of the water, Mr. Scotty.
Okay.
I don't want to play. I don't play the game. That's scary.
You don't like scary kid games? Come on.
I had a similar experience in my phase of recruit training in North Carolina, where it was also very dark, and we were supposed to be doing some kind of battle exercise. And I witnessed somebody standing on top of water, and they were wearing all white. I just didn't realize they were standing on water until I started to approach them, and I sank into my knees in this water. And I realized what I was looking at couldn't physically be possible. So I, for the first time in my life, just was like, I'm not doing this. And I went back to where I was supposed to be. It's very unnerving when you see something and your rational brain is like, nope, that shouldn't be happening. And then this part of your brain is like, oh, but guess what? It is happening.
Yeah, no. The funny and interesting thing is I had died 2 years before that.
Wait a minute. Are you a ghost, Cat? Are we talking to a ghost?
Actually, I still have 6 lives left.
Oh,
I've
all right,
died
good to
3
hear.
times.
Wow, that is an overachievement. Knock it off,
Well,
Cat.
let me get my ghost trap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing your story with us tonight.
That's good. That was,
amazing.
I like that.
Thank you, Kat.
You're welcome, guys. And again, thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. So in college, I went to Winona State University. Don't worry, Kimberly, you're next. And we, one of the indoctrination nights with some of the people I'd met was we were going to go up in the old cemetery. And it was like 1800s old cemetery up there. And we were going to play Ghost in the Graveyard, basically tag in the graveyard, which I'd played as a kid, but I'd never actually played in a graveyard. And I'm 20 years old. So we're booking around in the graveyard at night, which is really dumb because there are, I don't know, little headstones, medium-sized heads. I'm surprised I didn't die like Cat 3 times just that night. But at one point, I'm booking it, trying to keep away from one of the kids. And I turn to glance over my shoulder and I trip over something and I hit the ground and roll. And I turn around and there's this ghastly white face staring at me, laying on the ground, a body above ground. And I screamed like a 3-year-old girl. And actually, that's an affront to 3-year-old girls, because I was even worse than that with how loud I screamed. And then this thing's eyes sprung open and it screamed back at me. It was a hobo that was sleeping in the cemetery. And I effectively scared the living hell out of him.
I think you
He
did.
the same for me. Yeah, it was good time.
My
Oh,
friends
my
would have been able to find me from the smell.
Yeah, right. Kimberly, welcome to the program. You are our final contributor for the evening. Welcome to the show. What would you like to share with us this evening?
So, Scotty, I'm here from your TikTok. That's
hi, Kim. Thanks for coming.
So I am, ever since I was a kid, I love telling short stories. 3rd grade, wrote this whole story that my teacher was just flabbergasted that I could come up with such a story at such a young age. When I was working at a fast food restaurant, my first job, I had a friend of mine where it was slow. She's like, well, you like to tell stories. Tell me a story. And as I was just making up the story and telling her a story, her jaw was dropping. It was maybe like 3-minute story. And she says, how did you know that? What are you talking about? You told me the story between me and my grandmother. How did you know that? She was getting upset. How did you know that? You knew details that I'm like, I have no idea. So I've always had this gift of being able to see in pictures. And I've had people fight me on it, saying, no, that has nothing to do with me. 5 minutes later, they finally break down and say, yeah, that really speaks into the situation. And then in the early 90s, I was dealing with issues that my grandfather had done to me when I was younger.
I'm sorry.
And he had passed in 85, and this was in the early 90s. And it was when all these are all false memories coming about. I was really emotional and I was really crying out, saying, I need to know, did this happen? And, when you're in a room with somebody who's really emotional, you can feel that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
That emotion entered the room. And I knew it was my grandfather, and he said, I didn't know you weren't asleep. He says, I thought you were asleep. And I would just kind of sat up and I'm like, and I didn't realize what was happening, but then I got really angry and I had this conversation back and forth. And I was really angry at the end. I said, well, you're going to stick around and you're going to see the crap that I have to go through to get rid of what you did to me. So that was the first experience. And with that, he said, I've always been with you and I've never left. And I always think this is funny because the emotion left the room at that point. Fast forward to 2020, my mom passed away. And I got there 2 hours after she'd passed away. And when I entered the room, my family gave me time alone with her remains. That room was packed with people on the other side that was there to greet her.
Yeah.
And I didn't see them, but I could sense that room had probably 20 people, 20 souls in there that greeted her and passed her over and stuff. And something concerns me. My dad just passed on the 7th of May. I'm in Colorado. He's in Arizona. Kids and dogs, they love me. I have people say, I can't believe my dog is not biting at you because he doesn't like anybody. After my dad passed, dogs were afraid of me. Kids were afraid of me. And this has never happened to me before. I'm like, it has to do something with my dad because it only started after he passed away. So there's a lot there that I've unpacked for you guys, but I've always been in tune with things, but I don't know how to grow in those abilities. I don't want to speak into people's lives if it's of me. and not something that's really supposed to be spoken into their lives.
Absolutely.
I am a Christian, and I struggle with this, having this ability, the words of knowledge. I know things that are going to happen, and people are like, well, how do you know that? I said, I don't know. I just know that I know that it's going to happen. And I would say probably 80% of the time it happens. Yeah, but what really concerned me was when my dad passed, the kids and the dogs changed.
Don't struggle with your battle real quickly about your abilities. They're called God-given gifts for a reason. There were a lot of people in the Bible that were prophets that were given the gift of insight and discernment. That didn't make them evil. That's only been something that's been twisted and bastardized over the years, because as the church became something more of a prophet hound, they wanted you to come to them for answers instead of seeking counsel outside the church. And that's where it comes down to. So don't feel bad that you're a Christian and you have these abilities. That's like saying that Britney Spears is evil because she has the God-given gift to sing, or that Michael Jordan is evil because he has the God-given gift to put a basket through, or a ball through a basket. It's a gift. It's something that you work at. It's something that's a part of who you are. That's never bad. And especially when you're doing nothing but trying to be and do good things with it.
Yep.
So I don't mean to interrupt you on that, but I wanted to just try to help you get your mind into that set, because that's where you should be.
I was actually a missionary overseas for 7 years, and the organization that I was with was very open to that. I actually had a mentor that came alongside that she was like, she approached me and she says, this is what I feel is your gifting. And she didn't know me. So I've had a lot of experiences within that ministry with that. But like I said, the thing that concerns me is when my dad passed away, that shift in the animals, like let's
see what Scotty and Sarah have to say on that, because I know they do have to go as well. So what about this sudden shift where animals and children seem to be more standoffish around Kimberly now? What are you picking up on, Sarah?
Well, I've never, I don't know, Scotty, have you ever had an experience like this? So for me, like when somebody passes, of course, I think about my relationship with them, right? What it was like, if we got along, if we didn't get along, did he come to my graduation? Was he there at dinners? Like, you have all these thoughts. And sometimes we get stuck on the negative. Sometimes we get stuck on the positive. And energy attracts energy. I just do not feel that your dad necessarily is standing next to you scaring children. But what could be occurring is these thoughts, right, in your head, and worries and regret and remorse or fears or affliction or whatever is in your thought process. And these things are happening. You notice a child gets scared, or you notice a dog steps back. But I can't put that on your dad. I just don't know why, but I can't put that on your dad. So I just think that maybe like attracts like, and there might have been a situation where energy just didn't vibe. I don't know, Scotty, what do you think?
So, briefly, I had done a reading for somebody that had an experience like your own, unfortunately, with a relative, and the person came through during a reading, and we did some heavy work with it. And if this person came to you at some point after he passed and said, "I've never left your side," I feel like that's a bit of a threat, to be honest with you, of like, I'm still here with you. And when your dad passes, I'm a dad. I have two girls. I have a 25-year-old and an 8-year-old girl. Then I have a son as well. But the point is that if I were to pass and I found out that somebody was spiritually like still stalking somebody that they had hurt in life, but I was on the other side now, I would be the most protective that I could possibly be. And even if that meant scaring away other things that were more meek around me, that would be okay with me, as long as I was protecting the person I loved. So perhaps your dad is being that 800-pound gorilla around everybody with you, because he recognizes that he needs to put that wall up for you until you're in a space where you can let that other stuff go or detach from it. I'm not a big attachment person, but I am definitely a big proponent of spirit being able to protect us. And yeah, that can, in my opinion, definitely affect the things around us. And I only say that because I've experienced the love of spirit hugging somebody that they love so tremendously through me. And it's the same feeling I get when I hug my own children. I will literally die for them. So for that, I think there might be something to it. It might just be super protective energy that is just kind of flipping the switch on everybody. Like, just everybody just stay away, whether you're good or bad or indifferent. I just want to protect her from here on out because I can. Okay.
Well, things have gotten better. Like I said, he just passed on May 7th, and dogs are now responding to me like they used to. But Scotty, like you, I'll be 58 in August. I was just diagnosed with autism and ADHD when I was 55. And a lot of it makes sense. Just I feel things in my body. I'm not outwardly emotional, but I feel things in my body. So yeah, anyway, I appreciate you guys taking the time. And yeah, Scotty, I'm glad that you mentioned that you were coming over here. This has been a real blessing for me.
You're welcome. I'm so glad. Thanks to Dave. I mean, he sets this stuff up. He's the best.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you
Thanks,
for being
Dave.
a part of the
I've
program.
subscribed, so I'm going to go through and watch some of your past videos. This is the first time that I've actually seen you. So there you go.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
And welcome to the Darklings. We appreciate you. Thank you. What a fun night. This was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's always nice to read the emails and hear from people, and I don't want to shut out the people that are too shy. But I think we should do this more often. You know, maybe next month we'll do this again. And maybe what we'll do is we'll start off with a couple of emails and then roll into the live viewers and callers that would like to be part of this. Are you guys good with that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
we
lot
went
of fun.
a
I
little-
really love being able to look at somebody and hear them tell the story and really emotionally connect. And you notice we weren't as jokey today because we had these amazing people, so brave, all of you, by the way, who came forward. Great job. Because I know it could be a lot to step up in front of people, even if it is just online.
Yeah. And thank you all for sharing your thoughts with us. And thank you, Scotty and Sarah. You guys are true gems and gifts to the world with the healing that you help give to people and kind of that light that you hold in a very dark tunnel for people that are confused and lost sometimes. So thank you both for continuing to do the work that you do.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
All right. Well, it's sad, but it's over, folks. The night has come to an end. But before we go, I said I want to do this with you guys for a while. And especially after tonight's show, I kind of noticed that I think it's more important that we continue to do this little exercise together for a while. So right now, you see this bubble around me on the video screen. And for those of you listening, I want you to picture a ball of light around you, just surrounding your entire body. There is this auric energy that surrounds each and every one of us. And it is something that helps us pick up on danger. It's when you sense somebody's looking at you and you can turn around, there's somebody in that room. That means you are tapped in. You've got this ball of energy. So I want you to start to bolster it, strengthen it, empower yourself. Take power back from people that you've given it to by building this shell around you. And that can sound scary. Well, I don't want to build a shell that might keep things out. Let's just keep out the negativity. Start to imagine this beautiful ball of light around you, like Linda the Good Witch. Think of that beautiful bubble, that pearlescence bubble around you, something that's beautiful and shimmers in the light, right? And I want you to think of that. And I want you to think of it as kind of a one-way only door. And the one-way only is only in accepting love. So it only allows in the good, the positivity, the insights, the love, the adoration that you deserve in life. But that thin little veil, that thin little bubble is also powerful from the outside, and it will not let negativity in. You will deflect negativity. You will deflect bad thoughts. You will deflect things that are not part of you. And when you deflect those things back, I want you to send them with love. I want you to just imagine the entire outside of that bubble is covered in your love, which sounds kind of gross now that I say it out loud, but you just imagine that that bubble's covered with your love so that when negativity hits it and bounces back, with it, it takes love, compassion, and empathy and delivers it right back to the person and the source that sent that negativity to you. So take a couple of deep cleansing breaths with me right now, and you're inside your perfect little bubble, that beautiful shimmering bubble. Take in a deep breath. And when you do, just imagine that pink, beautiful, radiant light going in through your nose, and then see all that murky, dark smoke that's in you from all the garbage that you hold on to. When you blow it out now, you see that black smoke leaving outside the bubble. And take in another deep breath. Blow that smoke out. And with one more mighty deep breath, you're going to draw in all the good and positivity and love and adoration that is being sent your way from me, from Scotty, from Sarah right now, because we're sending it to you. And I want you to breathe in that love. Now, as you exhale, I want you to see that none of that smoke, not one iota, not one small atom is left. All that is left in you is that love. And you might not be connected to somebody special. Maybe you had problems with your family. You've had problems with your coworkers, friends. You've not in a place now where you've got that, but you can still accept love. You can accept love from me, from Scotty, from Sarah, and others. So open the portal to let the love in. And make sure that you fortify that shell, that beautiful bubble around you, that it can continue to glimmer and look beautiful, and it can rebuke negativity and send it back to people with love and light and compassion. I want you to do this not for them, but for you. Because you deserve a better life. You deserve to have everything in life that we are meant to have. All of the good, all of the positivity, and all of the love and light. And it starts within you. If you don't accept it, and I know some of you are saying, I don't feel like I deserve it. And I have those days too. I have those days that I don't feel I deserve love, and I don't deserve good things, and I've been bad, or I wasn't there for everybody at the time that they needed me, and sometimes I was selfish. That's called being a human. It doesn't mean you're bad, just part of the game. It's part of the long play of life. You are not the sum of those dark parts. Those are very small specks on the outside of your bubble. And right now you're going to pop that bubble. You're not going to pop it, but you're going to give it a little smack and shake loose all that debris. All right? You deserve good things. You deserve love. You deserve positivity. So accept it. And push out that negative stuff. Send it back to the sender. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in, for opening your hearts and sharing with us tonight. And what a night it's been. A huge, huge thanks to all of you who were brave enough to be a part of the show. You shared your stories. You trusted us with your experiences. And of course, deep gratitude to Sarah Lemos and Scott Davis for their insight, their compassion, their connection to all of you and to me. Whether we uncovered answers or just stirred up more questions, one thing is for certain. Tonight was real. It was raw. And it was exactly what this community is all about. I hope that the darkness of this world is just a little brighter with the information and insights that we share here on this program. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, you're not alone. Dave loves you. I'm Dave Schrader, and this is my Paranormal 60.